We traveled back to Valdosta, which the first visit wasn't that friendly.
No, sir.
And I don't think it's gonna be friendly this time. We ain't looking for friends. To be honest, I ain't looking for friends over that way. I promise you, because that's a region and they're region rivals.
Yes, sir.
Always, they'll always be. And so we're taking this trip back over there. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Welcome to the Wildcat Show, brought to you by Bennett Automotive Group. Hi, I'm Calvin Wilson, and this is Coach Travis Roland of the Camden County Wildcats. Hi, Coach.
How you doing?
Good. We're gonna get into this. This response. I'm gonna call this show the response.
The response.
Yeah, because it was the first time for not only you and your coaches, but for your team and us as a fan base to respond, together for the first time after a loss. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes after the way we lost. And when I say the way we lost, the first half was really bad against Valdosta the week before.
Correct.
And we fought hard, and the kids responded in the second half. And I think this Richmond Hill game, I think we kind of responded pretty good. What you think about it?
Yeah, I told somebody there, I said, we talked about, just yesterday we met with the Booster Club, we talked about, Coach Alford told them we're into building programs, not a team. And I think a program is your fan base. It's your student section. It's your band. And so I feel like we responded as a total whole because we all been in places, cities, schools where the fan base don't show up after a loss. And I felt like for us to have a standing room only on our home side, even you saw some powder blue and some navy and some white over on the away side. The band was back in effect. I think you saw our whole entire program say, no, we're still here. Yes, we got our ego bruised a little bit last week, got beat up, but we got to come back and show up. And I felt like that's what we did as a program, and that's what I mean when I talk about being for Camden. It wasn't about Travis Roland. It wasn't about one kid, this coach, that side of the ball. It was just everybody coming and showing up to be for Camden, and I feel like that showed up for us in the program, and we had a great response on how we responded to Richmond Hill.
Well, I love that baby blue. That's what yes, we
sir,
come up in the 80s, the 70s, and 80s was that baby blue. But the response we had offensively, the response that we had, Coach, how you think we responded to those guys offensively?
Man, I think it started up front. I think our guys, took the challenge on up front to know that just because, again, we keep screaming, just because we change the schematic of how we line up, they don't change the physicality piece of it. And so I feel like, Anthony Green, one of our senior leaders and captains, he had his best graded out game of the year so far.
Wow.
And so that was a great response by him and those guys. We got 4 seniors up front, AD, Rosso, Zach Taylor, and David Turner, along with the junior Big Country starting for us. And so those guys, put the game on them to be physical. And then when they're physical, that's where you see Sean Green break tackles on his first touchdown catch. You see Elias run through contact on one of his touchdown catches. So those are the kind of things where they set the tone up front for us to be a physical football team, and it spread out throughout everybody else.
Coach number 73, I think that's our center. What's his name?
That's Big Trent. Trenton, we call him Big Country, man.
He's a junior?
Yeah, he's a junior.
Man, yeah. I watched him because he was hurt a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
And went out there and still did his job. Yep. And he impressed me. Okay, defensively.
Yes, sir.
Man, let me tell you something. I was afraid. I'm just being honest. I know Valdosta was a tough physical game, but my whole thing was the physicality of Richmond Hill.
Yes, sir.
I mean, because I think not we all, as a fan base, I think we kind of overlooked Richmond Hill, but they showed exactly what I thought that first drive.
Man, listen, we knew coming to this thing, as soon as you pop the tape on, like, you see the size is out of this world. And, a lot of times, film don't even show you how big kids are. I made myself purposely not look down and doing warm-ups because I didn't want to scare my own self by looking and seeing how big they were before my kids were in front of them. And so I think, that was one of the biggest things. We got to be physical. And the way they play football, if you know the nuances of the game, a lot of the time, they're blocking with 9, and they're only blocking 7 of yours because they, one of your corners is out there one-on-one with a receiver, and they're leaving 2 guys on the backside unblocked because of the way they're running to it. So, they got numbers there.
Right.
So now somebody has to win. Scheme sometimes can't even save you in a game like that. you literally need somebody up front of one of your linebackers to win. And so that was kind of our message all week, because we knew those guys would come in here and be ready to run the football. And in this generation, like we all know, really want to play football.
Nobody want to tackle.
That's
nobody want to tackle.
People want to play. And the running back, he's 6 foot, 210 pounds. Then they bring the DB over there. He 5'11", 175 and shifty. So it's a lot you got to deal with.
And the quarterback.
And the quarterback
pretty shifty.
He's a shifty guy. So they do a good job, and they bring in number 10 off the sideline, run some counter stuff with him. So they've got a lot of explosive talent over there. I'm very proud of our kids for responding when they respond. Like you said, we scored right away. Got a penalty on third down. They proceeded to have an 8-minute and 52-second drive. So both teams only had one possession apiece in the first quarter. The first half was 50 minutes long, and that's all it took. So it was a game where, things counted, and it was a pins and needles type of situation where, when it was 7-7 and they got the ball back, I'm over there like, we got to get a stop right, because these folks get the ball at half. They could have messed around and went up 21-7.
Yep.
And now everybody in the stadium looking around like, wait a minute. Are we about to be 0-2 in region play? So very proud of our defense for going out and standing up for us.
Yeah, Richmond Hill is a real good team, very well coached.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to talk about some of the offensive players. We're going to start with Sean Green.
Yep.
I think he had two tutties on the night.
He had one touchdown.
One tutty, okay.
We can look at it right here, man. Coach Offer doing a great job. He back here in the backfield. Send him in motion. Parks pulls right like supposed to. He don't panic right there, right? And this is the thing about Parks not panicking. He gets out. Sean scramble drill, get up the field. Parks makes a great throw, and this right here is the difference in Sean Green this week right here. I mean, you see him break a tackle right there, and then him accelerating after that. I mean, this is a burst right there. To get in the end zone is amazing, man. And that's just something that we've worked on with him and Sean being better. Kind of getting the end zone look at it, man. Obviously, people always worry about, you want them to see that, man. They gonna see it regardless.
Right.
But I just think Sean did a phenomenal job in being strong for us and making some strong catches in this game. You get to see him now here. How he breaks the tackle. Again, Parks keeping his eyes down the field, finding the guy he trusts. Good strong move right there. And then he smelled the paint. Sean's he'll tell you he's left some touchdowns out on the field by not breaking tackles, and
right.
So he wanted to get out there and do some great things. And so I thought Sean, stepping up and having that right away, man. And there's one clip earlier where we get a drop ball and Sean is Johnny on the spot, and he needed that for a vote of confidence, just to be Johnny on the spot.
That's what I wanted to speak to, but he got started earlier with a drop by Elias, and it kind of really pumped him up, because I seen him go after the ball and he got up, and I think that was confidence enough. Yep. And I think early success for anybody is great. And he's just a sophomore, and he got a long way to go. Yep. Next is Elias Williams. He had 2 tutties on the night.
Obviously everybody's going to try to follow the Valdosta plan, try to bracket him and double guard him. But good timing and a great route run, right? He's not just running if you get to the end zone shot, you'll see this ball goes to the back pylon where it's supposed to go. Elias runs the route the right way. He doesn't waste time with getting there. And so that's one of the biggest pieces about it. Obviously people know you want to get him the football, and how are you going to get the ball to him? And you see where that ball is going to. And he's high pointing the football. Yes, he's 6'7", but does he play 6'7"?
Right.
Sometimes you get tall guys that don't play that way, but Elias does go up, take the ball, and takes it away from the guy, man. And you see right where that pylon is at. That's where that ball's supposed to go. So even though there's a safety trying to help bracket him, we throw the ball away from him, and Parks threw with good timing. And, Elias was able to make that touchdown catch for us. And then same thing right here, man. And I'm going to tell you the funny story about this one. You can see it's 4th and 2.
Oh, man, yeah.
I'm standing right here next to the official. You look at the bottom of the screen.
Call timeout.
I'm ready to call timeout. When we went about it, I said, Coach Offer, do you want to, get us go ahead and try to just get him jump off sides and then get a look at the box. And so Coach Offer goes, Coach, they got us outnumbered. And I'm like, well, you want timeout? It's like, no, Coach. And I hear the call, and the play call is basically all vert, right? Because it's cover 0. Yeah. And I'm like, you sure you want a timeout? I call timeout. He's like, no, we got to make a play. And, man, again, they crazy enough, they play cover 0. Elias runs through contact. We get a great block on the edge right there, and we get a touchdown pass. I think that's our right tackle makes the block. David Turner does a good job of running the guy back. And Elias makes a great play, man, and again, goes up against the football. You can see here, I mean, that's essentially 8 guys in the box. You know, we can't run. We'd be crazy to force ourselves to go in there and run that ball. And so, you know, again, like Coach Alford says, we can't tell our kids we're going to do one thing and then we don't do that thing. And we say we're going to be aggressive, we're aggressive. And Parks, you know, throws a beautiful pass. And, you know, we get a touchdown by Elias. And then you know, the bleachers love to see that. You know what I mean? And he made plays, and so we're confident in what we got when you give us that opportunity.
That's all right there. Yeah, Parks made 2 great throws right there. I mean, I'm going to say this. The past 2 games, I think he played really, really, really well.
Yes.
The Valdosta game didn't show up as far as scores or whatever, but he had drops in that game by some of his receivers or whatnot. But I think he's been leading the right way, and that's what I love about him. So let's go over to the defensive side of the ball, Coach. We'll go over to Xavier Brown.
Man, X had a phenomenal game. Led us with, I believe, 15 tackles. He had a sack, did a phenomenal job for us. And then I think, too, he got challenged, you know, as a middle linebacker. You know, we didn't have a great game stopping the run against Valdosta. And so here we get, and it's crazy because you had a finesse run game that you kind of saw with all the space they give. And then we run into this week where a team is coming out and saying, there's no question what we're about to do. We're about to come downhill and get after you right away.
Right.
And so X stepped up majorly for us, man, did a phenomenal job stopping the run. I mean, like, we held them to 91 rushing yards. They had one game 370 this year, one game 420.
That's what they do.
200. They averaged about 225 yards on the ground. And we held them to 33 carries and 91 yards. And I think on Max Pressure says they averaged 2.8 yards a carry this past Friday. And for us to come out and do that was a phenomenal job, led by him with the 16 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. So, you know, big kudos to him stepping up for us and answering the bell, man.
Yeah, X, we're going to talk about X, but I think he was helped by Milton. Kingston Milton being back this week really helped him because he's a physical player as a sophomore. Yep. This kid got a bright future ahead of him. Both of these kids.
Kingston's our one of our emotional leaders, even though he's a sophomore, man. He came back. He battled on a hurt foot, too, and played really well. You know, right here he's on the edge wearing number 18. You know, just a very aggressive kid. You see him right there beat a block, man, and get there and make a tackle. And you see him. Like, you see the energy, right? He plays with the energy you want to see, and he makes the rest of the guys play that way. And so that's something that, you know, we missed a lot from not having him out there against Valdosta. You know, we pick up a playmaker because that's him winning. That's why I told you, you know, heading to this game, we need the guys to come out here and win.
Right.
You know, when you play this kind of scheme where it's man on man and they sometimes outnumber you, you need a guy to come and make plays for you. And that's something Kingston did for us this week, where he came out and just, you know, was into it and just beat guys to make plays for us, man.
Yeah, sometimes when you look left or you look right to you and that guy ain't there, it takes away some of the juice that you actually have.
Sure does.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna go into special teams and defense with DC with David Coleman. I talked to him after the game and I told him, I said, boy, you're good, but you're gonna take it to another level because he got other levels, but right here is one of his special team touchdowns here. Man,
the fact that people are still giving him opportunities, and I know you don't want to give our offense, you know, field position, but the fact that they're giving him opportunities, I mean, you either kick it out of bounds or you give us the ball on the 17, 18-yard line. I mean, that kid's phenomenal, man. He's fearless. He wants the football to be kicked to him. I mean, you know, he does a great job. You know, we're blessed to have specialists that can put the ball where we want to put it. I don't necessarily think that kid was trying to get the ball to him. You could tell he wasn't trying to. But now, you know, and look at him. He's taking his time setting this thing up. He knew he couldn't get to the wall back to the right, so he kind of stuttered those guys left and right to create, and then the rest of that's on him breaking tackles. And he's hunting. He wants the end zone, man. Like, you don't see many kids that want that, you know, and there's energy. Here it comes. You know, the crowd's going. The offense ready to run there because they're smelling. We got a short drive to get points. And I just think, you know, he does a phenomenal job of getting us, ready to go with what he's doing, man. And so, you know, we continue to trust him, and he allows us to, because, you know, we do go after kicks. And that's something people aren't, you know, used to, is us going after kicks like that. And so I think, you know, we're getting him, you know, ready to go. And now here he is on the edge. He's a willing tackler. You know, that's him wrapping up. He's not ankle biting. He's not diving at ankles. You know, he's ready to make plays. And that's the thing of him being a leader for us, you know, from that standpoint of being a DB, not afraid to tackle.
Can we get to the interception right here?
Sure can.
Let's fast forward to that, because I'm gonna tell you who he reminds me of on this interception, and some of the people that's Wildcats, they'll know. It's another guy named David Coleman, which is his daddy, that I think is in the top 3 DBs ever at Camden County, for me anyway.
Yep. Here it goes. He knows he's gonna always be backside. They try a little gadget play. He understands football, man.
Jump it.
Undercut that football. And I messed with him right. I said, man, you a returner. Like, how do you run into people?
Yeah.
And I found out that was his first career interception.
So it was extra hype.
Oh, yeah, extra hype. So he was just happy to get that football.
Because he had blockers set up on the right side.
He definitely did. He was, but again, just a kid that's making a bunch of plays for us, did a good job staying in coverage and just the quick, soft hands, man. Like I say, but the returner in him wants to see a gap and want to get to it. So, but just, the energy, man, these are the kind of plays we need because it creates energy for us as a program. And then those are going to be the plays that are going to continue to take us along. Oh, I ain't know you hit the Dion. Oh, so we hit the Dion on the field now, huh, DC? Okay.
Got to keep that same energy. Gotta keep that same energy. So we talked about some of the offensive players and some of the defensive players and special team players, but we're going to get to the player of the game right now. The player of the game is brought to you by Jane Brown, State Farm agent in Kingston, Georgia. And the player of the game is a guy that I think you've been waiting on all year. I remember a conversation on the sideline one day, and towards him, and he ain't understand what you were trying to pull out of him at the time, and he tried to talk to me. I was like, look, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want Coach to think I'm sympathizing with you. But I think the kid has grown up over the past few games or whatnot, and we needed him to grow up.
Sure did.
We needed him to grow up. Because if he grows up, it gives a combination of a 3-man rotation that's like kind of monstrous because it's each one of them give a different type. But I'm talking about number 16, and that's Antoine Williams.
Yeah, man. Twan is, he's one of the few ultra cats we have in the program. I mean, you see when he make people making business decisions when tackling them, and you see him carrying guys. I mean, when you see these highlights, that there's some runs where he's touched for a no-yard gain, and he's carrying people. And like, when you're an ultra cat, that means that you have it all. Weight room, you got the agility, you got the explosion with your broad jump and your vert jump. And so like I said, we only have, I think, 3 in the program right now. That's why that wall is like it is in there. Most of the guys on that wall are great football players. Yes. And so Twan stepped up. He's been waiting on this opportunity all year long. He produced it and turned it into 12 touches for 143 yards and a touchdown. Oh, wow. So, I mean, he had a phenomenal football game, man, and we're beyond happy with the way he played. I think the kid, showed up for us when we needed him the most, and how he made plays. And like I said, he just had some runs where they were bad. And again, you talk about this touchdown run here. I mean, he's squirting through, and nobody knows that he's got some speed. This kind of speed, right? Everybody thinks it's it's only Harder that's got some speed, and then Twan and Ju aren't really quicker guys, but they both can run as well. And so I think, Twan just stepped up for us and trusted those linemen. He's a kid that's going to get north and south right away. And like you said, now we've got, a shifty speed back in Hardy. We've got a shifty, thicker guy in Ju, and then Twan is a guy that can do it all, man. But he's a guy that he's looking for the contact. And right there, I don't know, 45. That's a great jump cut by him.
Man.
I mean, that's him staying front
he found the hole.
And finding the hole. And again, trusting the offensive lineman. You see the energy that the guys get too, man, when we have these kind of runs. So, Josh said, we're just excited that these guys, came out to make some plays for us, man. I'm excited about, what we got moving forward with these kids, man, and how we're playing offensively. So definitely looking forward to it.
But Coach, we can kind of take this one and shelve it up.
Yeah, flush it.
Because it ain't no good no more.
no good.
It ain't no good. We're on to Lowndes County.
Yes, sir.
We travel back to Valdosta, which the first visit wasn't that friendly.
No, sir.
And I don't think it's going to be friendly this time. We ain't looking for friends. To be honest with you, I ain't looking for friends over that way. I promise you. Because that's a region, and they're region rivals.
Yes, sir.
Always. They'll always be. And so we're taking this trip back over there. And I'm going to tell you the truth. These people are still going through from this hurricane because, I'm going to be honest with you. On my ride over there, it took some of the fire out of me, to be honest with you.
You realize how blessed we were.
Right. And so I can see how I would go over there feeling a little different towards them or whatnot. But we going back over there.
War.
You got to. These Vikings, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these Vikings, they're a tough squad. They always been a tough squad, and they led by Adam Carter. He was here for a while, and he coached here at Camden County and coached a bunch of places, and ended up in Grayson and won a state championship over there. And so the kid knows how to win. Well, he ain't a kid no more, but to me he was when he was first here. But he knows how to win. He has a good coaching staff. They spend big money over there, and not just to play football, to win region titles. Right. And so they're coming off a win or a loss.
A win over at 26-7.
A win over at Tiff, and their record in the region is
1-1.
1-1. They lost to
Colquitt by 3. Fitzgerald hit a 52-yarder as time expired.
Wow. So they're coming in with a chip on their shoulder. We're coming in having to go into their place.
Absolutely.
And it's the Crystal Palace or the
Concrete
Palace. Yeah, not Crystal. My bad. Concrete Palace. That means it's going to be some hard knocking over there. We're going to talk about their offense to start off. We start off with Jace Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
The quarterback. 6'4". Sophomore.
Yeah. Pretty looking joker, dude. He's got a strong
he can throw
arm. He can launch it.
He can throw it.
And they run a lot of vertical pass concept stuff. It's kind of similar in the same vein as Brunswick in the sense of trying to stretch the field. And he's got an arm his arm's so strong, he's overthrown some of their fastest guys because he can launch it.
He can throw it.
He's got a very strong arm, and he's having a really good year. And they're doing some good things to make reads simple for him. They make you line up certain ways sometimes, and it's where he's got some bigger windows to work with when he throws it. So, definitely got to make sure we make him have to thread the needle a little bit.
I was trying to see, because I watched Jakari Brown the whole time too, and I'm trying to think if I hate to say this, but he may be a little ahead of Jakari as far as throwing the ball.
At this early in his career?
Jakari took away his senior year. He kind of came back to just try to throw the ball, and he took away some of his running. But this kid is not. He can run.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Listen, he can run, but he don't want to run.
Yeah.
He want to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to see. So I think he's a little ahead throwing the ball than Jakari was at this time. And then we go to Jalen Carter. He's a wide receiver, running back.
He done came along the last 3 weeks. Boy, he had a very good ball game against Colquitt. Colquitt kept leaving him one-on-one, and he won a lot. He caught some straight go balls, caught some double moves, ran up and ran one of the prettiest comeback and goals I've seen in a minute that he caught. But he's a very explosive kid, and they've gotten it's a tale of kind of 2 seasons because earlier in the year he wasn't really going that way. But then I think in these last 2 ball games they targeted him a lot more, and he made a pretty over the shoulder sideline NFL style catch against Tift on a go ball. So they're getting him going. I think they recognize they got to get the pass game going so they can be a little more balanced as opposed to being so run heavy. So he's a guy we got to keep our eyes on.
Gotcha. And then we got Marvin Parrish, which was the quarterback, and now he's the do it all.
Yeah. Running back, receiver,
and he will throw it, and
Wildcat
they will let him throw it. He will throw it.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty good athlete, man. Really good
know
athlete.
Where he's at for sure. He's a thick kid, and like I said, I think he's playing way more free because he doesn't have the pressure of playing quarterback. So, he's able to now kind of flock in on what he's going to do when he goes to college. And so he's out there having, kind of a carefree season and playing well himself.
And I think a big asset is him playing quarterback because you have to know what everybody's doing. And if you recognize a defense as a wide receiver or a running back, then I can sit down in zones or I can do other things. And so that's big. And then this kid, number 74, Abraham Eisenhower. Man, I watched his first clip, maybe the second. He threw a kid.
Oh, yeah?
No, listen. He threw a kid. Like, he threw him.
Oh, yeah, man. Physical now.
He's a physical dude. Yep. He's a physical dude. What do you think about him, Coach?
They've got 2 really tall tackles. They flip-flop them. They play both left and right, depending upon what they're trying to do. And I think both those guys are very physical football players. Both have some college interest from some really good schools. And again, like we say, it's just Region 1 football, man.
Region 1.
Like Coach Alford said, is great faces and nameless names, man. It's almost, it's like a cycle, man. Everybody's gonna have a quarterback. They're gonna have receivers. They're gonna have D linemen. They're gonna have guys at certain positions, and so you just got to be ready to go and play football. And like I say all the time, not play the name on the front of the jersey. You got to play the guy that you see on film and be prepared and ready to go each week.
You know what? I just thought about something. I talked to a couple of people, and they say it's down in Region 1 this year. Okay. No. This is what it's down. But they talking about particular teams maybe a little. Man, listen, I'm finna tell you something. No, it's not.
No, not at all.
No, it's not.
I don't want to rush these next 3 weeks, but I can't wait till our 4 teams go wherever we go for the playoffs. And I like all 4 of our teams to no matter who they are, I like all 4 of them to have playoff success because of how hardened we will be as time goes forward. I mean, there's some good football teams. I know Colquitt, people, I say people think Colquitt is like down. I don't know why. They have one region loss in the last for however long. They are still elite at different positions on that football team. Like, that running game is elite. That defensive line is elite. Like, I don't know why people think, one way or another. Valdosta's team is elite right now. And this is, they're the ones that are 2-0 in the region at this moment. And that just is what it is. But everybody is acting like just because the one team now has a loss, the rest of the region is down. No, somebody else is just kind of has picked up some slack this year, and they're better.
I tell you what, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't say it's down, and
it's not.
And if you play one of these teams,
you'll see.
You'll know. I mean, you'll feel it. You'll feel it on that Sunday and that Monday.
Yes,
on defense, they have an outside linebacker named Jaden Stallworth. Yep. Long kid.
Yes. I think all 3 of those kids, man, 15, 3, and I believe the other one is number 6.
I think. Oh, you're talking about the linebacker.
I think all 3 of those guys are nice, long kids, and they do a good job of taking up space. Coach Carter is a 3-3 guru. He's has the podcast. One I appeared on when I was down in Daytona. Mm-hmm. I spoke on his podcast about 3-3 defense. So, he does a great job with his scheme and how he's done it.
Maybe we could get him on.
I know, right? We get him on over here, man.
Help us know how to run the 3-3.
It's gonna be a good game. I told someone earlier this week. I said, both offenses will have familiarity with what they're gonna see because both coaches are 3-3 guys. So I think both offenses will be able to have some success. Both of us will have to be ready to have some wrinkles in, which I know they'll have some. I know we have some to be able to kind of throw some of those things off. And then, like, you're gonna ask about 42, man. They remind me of Richmond Hill, in a sense where at least roster size wise, they don't say they weigh a bunch, but they are very violent, and you could tell.
Yeah, that's Caleb Barron. Barron.
Yes.
I watched him, dude.
They got the violent, heavy-handed kids. Because sometimes people think being heavy in the pants is always the answer, but I think sometimes when you get these guys that are heavy-handed, that makes more of a difference because they're shocking the shed and doing a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. So, I think their front 6 is one that's going to be good, and we're going to have to deal with, and handle, the slanting and some of the blitzes if they choose to do that. So it's going to be a good game, man. Like you said, there's no breaks, because we'll be right here next week when we're getting ready for Colquitt, talking about their defensive line, and then we'll get ready for TIF. We'll be talking about how fast and explosive those guys are. So it's never going to be a break when you talk about, the trenches in this region because you're going to have to be ready to play each week.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want to talk about them, what they call themselves, the letters.
Oh yeah, man.
Hey man, listen.
Best student section in the country. The letters are awesome.
The letters. We might need to put at the letters where everybody can go see, because I think they deserve a great shout out.
Yes.
Them and the band and the cheerleaders and our fans, man. But those letter guys, from, like you say, from the bottom all the way to the top, they're full. And they're making noise.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I tell everybody, people say, what's the difference? I say, man, let me tell y'all something. I say, I've seen student sections, but I've not seen things like this.
And they're clever.
They're very clever. I mean, should you talk about last week we get the warning to have to go tell the band to be quiet.
That was
good.
good.
I go full Ultimate Warrior, and I shake the fence, and they look at me like, let's go. Like they got even more excited because we did that. And so, I'm all for them. They're coming to our away games, man. I'm excited the fact that they've got a theme for during the away game. I've never seen student sections like this be willing to travel 2 hours for a football game until I got here. And so, them and the band are a part of this program. That's why I said we're not about football teams. We're about football programs. And I want the band and the letters and the cheer team and the community to know, like, you guys make our football program. That you guys make up what we are. You make up the intensity we play with, the swag we play with. You guys are all a part of that. So we're just thankful that we know when we show up on Friday.
And what time is that game this Friday? Because somebody told me one time, somebody told me another time.
It is 8 o'clock start, 8 o'clock kickoff. That's the time they play football games over in Lowndes County. And so it's going to be an 8 o'clock start, man. So you be ready to go. You got plenty of time to finish your work.
Okay, I was about to say, that don't give you an excuse now. You're able to get there. It's not a 7 o'clock. Nope. It's not a 7:30 start. It's an 8 o'clock start. It's better than a 1 o'clock start on a Saturday. I can promise you that.
You got plenty of time now. And they don't stream. For what I'm told, they only stream unless it's a sellout. Okay. So you guys go ahead and show up so that way we got plenty of our support there, and we'll be ready to go. We're going to work our tail off and again put on a good product for you guys and play the right way again and be ready to go.
That's one good thing about Region 1, though. All these teams travel well.
Yep.
And so we have to continue to travel well to support these kids. And I think that's it for today. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. Share, like, whatever you have to do, do that for us.